On the roads around me, you might be able to find plastic bottles or bags floating around, but if I take a step back here, you can see items as large as chairs, mattresses, and toilets on the side of the streets. Newsom signed 7 bills on the Northridge campus today. He says he'll sign dozens more when he gets back to Sacramento later this week. While businesses on Olvera Street continue to serve Angelenos, they're hopeful that people from across the Southland will make their return to the spot LA was founded. Their resources have been funded by the mayor's budget for the last 2 years. Valley View News reached out to the mayor's office on whether or not Urban Alchemy will receive funding for next year. Thank you everyone for joining us today. The first thing we're going to dive into is something every student in the state should know more about, and that is access to financial aid, because everyone can always use more aid. Fully vaccinated people can still spread COVID-19. So the next time you're at a brewery, like Common Space, you'll need a mask when you're indoors. Businesses continue to build and stereotypes continue to break. Reporting from downtown, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi. A college-style celebration at California State Northridge for the governor's signing of legislation to create the largest spending hike in California's higher education plan.
It's because we had an historic budget surplus this year.
The new legislation approves $47 billion for the CSU system, the UC system, and the 121 community colleges statewide. The legislation goes hand in hand with Newsom's $123 billion plan that provides free pre-kindergarten for all California 4-year-olds. The budget also calls for more teachers and lower class sizes.
We created a brand new grade, TK for all. And more importantly, perhaps, wasn't just the access, it's the quality. We're reducing the class sizes in half as part of our TK for all initiatives.
This is all paid for by California income taxes, taxes on the state's Wall Street investments, and the most wealthy. Newsom said student activism played a big role in fueling support for the bill.
We're excited to see higher education continue to be funded in the governor's budget. That, teachers aren't the last thing, or that education isn't what we're talking about when we're talking about budget cuts. Increased funding will create more associate's degree transfer programs to benefit future students.
Being told that, if you want to go to a CSU, you have to take these classes, which are separate than if you want to go to a UC. What they're going to be told is, here are the classes, take them, you get to the end, you transfer it.
Newsom signed 7 bills on the Northridge campus today. He says he'll sign dozens more when he gets back to Sacramento later this week. Reporting from the Cal State Northridge campus, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi.
Chef salad, double meat, double cheese.
To say that Brent's Deli in Northridge is busy is a bit of an understatement. Here, it's not very unusual to see owner Brent Peskin helping his staff get online orders out to customers.
Linda! DoorDash and Grubhub and all those, that has to be half our business now.
In fact, when restaurants were allowed to reopen, Peskin couldn't get enough employees to come to work. He's reduced his hours and is even providing overtime pay to some employees as he looks to fill openings.
We're open for 3 hours less every day, and on Mondays we close early. All due to staffing.
While Peskin struggles himself to find workers, his suppliers don't even have the staff to deliver products.
My bakeries, they don't deliver 7 days a week anymore. None of my vendors, they all cut back on everything.
The California Restaurant Association says lack of childcare and unemployment benefits are keeping people at home, but this month is the last month of federal funding for extended unemployment benefits. While Peskin and his team battle through the lunch rush, he's hopeful that more workers will return to help businesses across the nation. LA County hopes to ditch the mask mandate and get back to normal. But for restaurants across the Southland, like Brent's, getting back to normal means getting back to serving their customers. Reporting from the city of Northridge, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi. Tucked away in his shop on Olvera Street is Armando Murillo. He's a second-generation business owner continuing his family's work, making handcrafted leather products.
My parents started in the early 1970s, and it's basically tradition. For me, it's my life.
Murillo credits Olvera Street general manager Arturo Chavez for much of the street's success. Chavez acts as a property manager for each owner on the street. He says the city of LA has done its best to help businesses here survive the pandemic.
The new council member gave them another 40% of rent through December 31st of 2021.
40% of their pre-pandemic rent cost is what a majority of Olvera Street merchants currently pay. But for Murillo, it's a different story. His father bought a 55-year lease for his shop back in the 1990s. So Murillo's rent cost is fixed at a different price. He couldn't speak on Olvera Street's upcoming rent hike. It doesn't affect him.
I don't want to touch on that.
But it does touch and affect Murillo's neighbor, Emily Martinez. She's a fourth-generation businesswoman on the street and is expected to pay 100% of her original rent by January 1st, 2022. She thinks the rent increase is coming too fast.
It's something that should be done on a very slow, gradual level. And I will fight as much as I can to influence whoever to at least keep it at 40%.
While businesses on Olvera Street continue to serve Angelinos, they're hopeful that people from across the Southland will make their return to the spot LA was founded. Reporting from downtown, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi. It's game day in LA, and the atmosphere at Common Space Brewery in Hawthorne is exhilarating. But manager Gabe Callahan and his team are enforcing a new rule this week.
Just to let you know, we need vaccination requirements for inside.
If you want to sit inside at LA breweries, bars, or large events, you'll need to show proof that you're vaccinated for COVID-19.
For me, I think for the employees as well, it's about the idea that we're doing something better for the greater good.
Fresh with my booster.
Today.
Not much has changed for Common Space. Beer is still made in-house, and customers are still flocking in like they always do. Callahan says he's not scared of losing business because his staff is polite when enforcing the mandate.
We have wonderful employees that are very good and nice about it, and we're as accommodating as can be about everything.
While bartenders check for cards and pour handcrafted beer, some customers, even vaccinated ones, are unsure if they agree with the mandate.
I think it should still be up to the people to have their own choice on what they do to their bodies.
The CDC says that fully vaccinated people can still spread COVID-19. So the next time you're at a brewery, like Common Space, you'll need a mask when you're indoors, unless you're eating or drinking. Reporting from the city of Hawthorne, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi.